How's it going today, guys? Today, we're going to finally be reviewing my Daiwa SALTIST MQ reel. I've had this reel since it came out, which has been almost a year now, and I've really gotten to use it quite a bit. I've gotten a well-formed experience with it, and I'm going to be telling you guys my experience with the reel, how I feel it performs, and whether or not I think it's worth buying or not. So that being said, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Smash the like button on this video. It really helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm and get it out to more people. So I'd really appreciate that. And with that being said, let's get started. As we start this review, just letting you guys know, these reels are linked down below in the description. Along with that being said, this rod, we also did a review on it. Be sure to watch that video so you can see my thoughts on that rod, or on this rod in that video. So that being said, let's start this review. As we start this review, the first thing we're going to talk about is the specs, and then we're going to go into my experience with the reel, how I feel it performs, smoothness, durability. That way, you guys know the specs on this reel, and then we'll talk about it rather than just talking about the specs and leaving it at that. Anyways, with that being said, let's start talking. So obviously the specs are going to depend on which reel you buy. Obviously different users are going to have different specs that you need to meet. Like example, if you're just trout fishing, you know, maybe a 3,000 size reel would work better for you. This is a 4,000 size reel. You know, I like this reel just because I can do a little bit of everything with it. You know, I could trout fish with it in the flats for snook and stuff. Or I mean, for trout, I could fish for snook with it. I could fish for redfish with it. I could go offshore and, you know, fight some little snapper with it, even some grouper. Now obviously, it's kind of limited to some other stuff like fighting like a big kingfish or something like that because of line capacity. However, I can still fish for mahi with it on the weed line or whatever I want. You know, you just got to find out what you're going to be using that reel for and find out which specs you need to do that. So on this reel, it's a 6:1 gear ratio. You get 39 inches per turn, which is great when you're doing a lot of inshore fishing, or even if you're fighting fish for a long run, you want to get as much line back onto the reel as fast as possible. It's a really lightweight reel, so you can hold it in your hand all day. It's super light. It's only 10 ounces. And for a 4,000 size reel, it puts out an insane amount of drag, which it puts out 26.4 pounds of drag at max drag. So that's really a lot of drag this reel puts out. I have 30-pound braid on it just because, you know, I'm using it for the flats, but I also want to be able to use it for some of my stuff offshore, like biting those bigger mango snapper or, you know, like a grouper or something. So I want to be able to put max drag on the reel and also let the rod do some of the work for me and put the heat on the fish. So I have 30-pound braid on here. It's not a full spool at the moment. However, when I did fill it, I used 30-pound Power Pro braid and I was able to get like 200-ish yards on there. So not 230 like it says. 230 is if you do the J braid, then you could probably get 230 on it just because it's a little bit thinner. Or with the Power Pro is more like 210. Anyways, besides that, it's a really great reel. And now let's talk about my experience with the reel. So MQ stands for monocore. So basically this is the SALTIST MQ. And the monocore, what I liked about it is that it helped make the reel more durable and more resistant to salt water, which is a big thing, you know, so it doesn't corrode and the reel will last longer. And you know, these are expensive reels, they're not cheap. So most of us that are buying these reels are not going to be throwing these reels away after a year of use. You know, we're going to be using these reels for a few years and possibly even ever, just because these reels are built so well. You know, you can really count on it to last a long time. So that's one thing I really have to say I'm really pleased with this reel, is that it's very durable. I've done some surf fishing with this reel, and you know, it's gotten splashed and sprayed a lot, and you know, it's been through some harsh environments. It's really durable reel. You know, you could, if don't do this, always wash your reels, but if you didn't wash this reel, you know, it probably wouldn't affect the smoothness of it for a long time. How long, I don't know. I don't recommend testing that. Always wash your reels off after use, even if it's just a few casts, always do it. Anyways, it's a very durable reel. You know, you don't have to really worry about it like freezing up or anything like that. It's built really well, so it doesn't corrode or anything like that, to help keep it more smooth for longer. So I'm really happy with the durability of it. I think part of that is that monocore body. It's a very durable reel and I'm happy about it. Also, it's a really cool looking reel, as you can see. In the pictures, it actually looks a little bit worse than it does in reality, but when you get it and you start to look at it, you start to realize it actually looks a lot cooler, especially if you put blue or white braid on here. It looked really nice. And then also like this nice power knob right here. You know, it's really comfortable to hold. I like it. You know, the only thing I don't really like is if it gets really cold, then that knob is cold as well. Only downside other than that, I really like it. I like it how it's aluminum, so it doesn't really get marked up or anything like that. It's harder to get marked up if we can put it like that. So I really like that power knob on this reel. It looks really nice and it feels really good as well. So that brings us to the next point, which is the smoothness of the reel. I have other inshore reels I use, and I have to say this reel is definitely a very smooth reel. We'll be comparing this reel to some of those other reels, so that's another reason to subscribe if you haven't already. So one thing I want to talk about is how smooth this reel is as far as the drag system. It's a very smooth drag. It's very easy to adjust the drag, as you can see, and it's a very smooth drag. So this drag is super smooth. You know, I've done some long fights on it where I've been hooked up to a fish that I shouldn't have caught on this, like a really big shark, or you know, even like a 20-pound kingfish on this reel. Totally caught by accident, but it was smooth enough to last. And you know, the drag on this reel is just super smooth, especially once you put it through a long fight. You know, you really see that the drag on this reel is super smooth. That brings us to the next point, is the retrieve. This has a really smooth retrieve. You know, this reel, I really enjoy using this reel because it's so smooth in my hands to use and cast and everything. You know, the drag is smooth on it when the fish takes a run. You know, you don't have to worry about like the drag freezing up and then the fish pops off. You know, it's got a really smooth retrieve, so when you're reeling in a lure all day long, you know, you can really feel that, especially when you switch to another reel, how smooth this reel is. So it's a really smooth reel to retrieve it and a smooth drag. Also, opening the bail to cast, that part is very smooth. It has an air rotor and it's really great. It's got an air bail as well, so that really helps increase the smoothness and the strength of the reel, also keeping it lighter. So it's a super smooth reel. You know, the drag output on this reel for a 4,000 size reel is really incredible. That's what I really like about it, because you know, I can use this for some light offshore applications. I can use it for inshore. So the high drag capacity for me really works in my favor, because it helps me be able to use this reel as a more versatile reel. You know, having extra drag is always nice, especially when you have the line on the reel that you can put that kind of pressure on it. Like with this reel, in this case, I have 30-pound braid, 26.4 pounds of drag. You know, if I need to put some heat on a fish, I can really put some heat on a fish with this reel. So I really appreciate the drag on this reel, how smooth it is, and how light it is, and how great the retrieve ratio is on it as well. So that being said, I definitely think this reel is worth it. It is a pricey reel, but it's a really high quality reel, and you're really paying for quality with this reel. I really enjoy using this reel. I hope you guys will as well. Let me know your comments down below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the like button on this video. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers together, guys. So smash that subscribe button. With that being said, signing off. Until next time.